Greetings and salutations, my stitchy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. So good. I am stitching away on Lily of the Valley, finally. You know, the holidays, I don't know why I thought I was going to get lots of stitching done. I don't know. Craziness. Oh, excuse me. I am getting ready to drink my great big bottle of water mixed with Paloma Salud drink mix. Oh golly, you know, I have all kinds of talking points to blab about today. So let's get this part over quick. If you have not done this or you're brand new here, if you would like, follow, subscribe to Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I would greatly appreciate that. That's kind of what keeps me going. All of that engagement helps me in a multitude of ways. Anyway, and then ask to join the other private Facebook group and Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook group, because that one and this one we can continue to share photos of projects back and forth. So you can post photos and I can. So, you know, it's a win-win. Anyway, that's that. So I am just stitching along on the border of Lily of the Valley. I will tell you, I cannot wait to start stitching with these special variegated threads that I bought just for this pattern. I'm so excited. I was going to say, I have these two variegated floss that I bought from Red Rock, of course, and I'm just so excited about stitching with them. I have this variegated, like light greens, and the number is 4017 for all of the stem and the leaf. And then for the actual flower, I have, this is Shades of Cream, and it is 4001. I thought you might like that information. That's what I'm going to use. I just want that really, I want this to be kind of a subtle creation. Oh, I was going to say, everything except today has been, all the videos except for today have been uploaded to the YouTube channel, Flower Farm Stitch Club YouTube, and Stitchalong. So just so you know that if you've missed any in the past, they are all available for you on my Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs, no, just Ann Corbiere-Scott Facebook. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Can you tell I haven't been, Jeff's out of town, so I haven't talked to anybody. So my noggin is not all the way there just yet. But what I'm trying to say is all of my Stitchalong videos have been uploaded to the Stitchalong and Flower Farm playlists on my Ann Corbiere-Scott YouTube channel. So you can watch them any old time you want. And if you do, leave me a comment. I would love to know. I would love to know that, you know, people are watching and enjoying that content. That would mean the world to me, actually. what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I saw this interesting woman speak about introverts and extroverts, and it was really quite interesting. Let me pull this light a little closer. They were, the woman who is the main speaker is a teacher, and I believe elementary school, but I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, so she says that she's quite extroverted, and she has a friend who also teaches who's quite introverted. And so they talked about the difference between where introverted people get their energy and where extroverted people get their energy. And that both can be very good, animated, locked in teachers. They just derive their energy from different sources, which I found fascinating, because I find myself to be kind of a half and half person. I think I'm half extroverted and half introverted. I think there are more of me out there in the world. So the main teacher was talking about how the extroverted teacher was talking about how she gets her energy from people, from being around people, and that can be true for me. But she said the other teacher, the introverted teacher, gets her energy, like she recharges her batteries from quiet, because she said introverts are constantly absorbing sound, movement, personalities, all of that, and there's no pause button, which I find to be true about me too. And then she had like some advice for introverted teachers, and she said, don't fight like who you are as a person. If you don't fight your wiring. If that's who you are, then you just need to make a plan for recovery, which I thought was also really interesting and pretty sage advice. You know what I mean? Like eat lunch alone, or find a quiet place to just go and recharge your batteries. And I find that I need to do that, especially if I'm in a situation where I have lots of peopling going on. Do you know what I mean? Then I find that I need to find what, and you know what? It doesn't take much for me to be able to recharge my batteries. But I do need to recharge my battery, because I can feel myself getting cranky if I'm unable to do that. So it was really insightful for me to just listen to her speak, you know? It really was. And she talked about, I found this kind of interesting too. She talked about introverts and how they can be a calming presence, and they can be what do I want to say? Really good listeners, and really good morning, Valerie. Really good teachers also, because they listen deeply, they think before responding, and they bring calm. I thought that was stinking brilliant, you know? I did. I really enjoyed that talk I listened to. Just taking my time, doing the border of the lily of the valley. How about you, Valerie? What are you working on? Good morning, Keels. How are you this morning? I was just talking about introverts and extroverts and how I find myself to be both. I can be extroverted when I need to be, but I know myself and I know that my introverted self needs just as much attention, I guess you would say. The introverted part of me needs to recharge my batteries. And for me, that just, sometimes I just need to go stand in a quiet room for a minute, close my eyes. It doesn't take long for me to write myself, but I don't know that write myself is the word. But do you know what I mean? Like it, but I know when I need it. I can feel it. I can feel it in myself. Yeah, don't you feel you're half and half, Keels? Like I know, so like embroidery is the perfect activity for me to recharge my batteries because number one, it makes you slow right down, right? And just focus on something else. And so it works for me. I hope it works for you too. I hope that I'm finishing my countdown to Christmas. Okay. So you guys, so I've been thinking about you, Valerie, because you're doing the felt stockings and the, I presume you bought the kits, Drusilla, or what are the other ones? Dimensions. That was a company that did felt kits. Anyway, I will just tell you, there is a resurgence of the felt kits. It's insane. The resurgence of people doing those stockings, those ornaments. It's crazy. I have many of those. I have many of those kits that I bought like probably 1982, and some that I've bought along the way. And some I've done and some I haven't. I have this, I don't remember what the name of the kit was, but if I saw it, I would know it immediately. Anyway, I have this, it was originally a Christmas ornament, but I just have it hanging in my living room because I like it so much. It was a little heart-shaped ornament, and it just says, I love you, which I thought could be up all year long. And so I have a big needlepoint Merry Christmas that I have yet to begin, but I want to. I have like this big collection of all these different Christmas pillows from just that I've collected over the years, or like people have made, like my mom has made me. I love red, and so my mom and my gram have both made me red and white pillows, and so I have those mixed in with they're always on display. My husband made me this giant church pew, and on there I have a giant collection of pillows of all different kinds. Let's see. I want to find a stocking kit for baby bullies. So what are you thinking, Keely? Are you thinking like one of those felt ones? Are you thinking a cross stitch one? Are you thinking a knitted one? What do you kind of, or are you feeling like you'll know it when you see it? Okay, Valerie says, yes, it started during COVID when people needed something to do while staying home. Isn't that funny, Valerie? If you were locked in your house right now, would you run out of things to do? No, none of us would. In our world, we always have something going, or something's going. You know what I mean? Good morning, Lisa Chestnut, Maxwell. How are you? How are things in Kansas today? Oh, Mary Stocking and Plaid have them. Oh. Vintage quilted for their house. What does Matthew's stocking look like? No, but that baby should have a stocking at your house. Braxton and Desi's stockings just stay here. James and Dwayne's stockings stay here too. And they're all different. Well, they're all, the ones that my mom made are all knitted. The ones that I made for Ben and Eileen are at my house, and they are cross-stitched. Good. Waiting for the cold weather to hit tomorrow. Brr. Lots of stitching time. Exactly. Exactly. When it's inside. Exactly, Valerie. I agree. I could be in my house for years and not run out of things to do. And I love that. You know? My Graham and I used to talk about that we could be locked in our house and we would never run out of things to do. Always have about at least 3 or 4 projects going at the same time. Okay, I'm going to do this one last stitch and then I will rethread. Oh my gosh, you guys. I saw this video of this girl that, that is an embroiderer, and she had a tip for satin stitch, and I thought it was really interesting. What she said she does for satin stitch is that if she's doing satin stitch, I don't think I have anything on here that I would do satin stitch on, but be that as it may. She separates each strand. So if you are using like DMC or whatever, or if we're using Sulky, we would separate each strand so that it takes the twistiness out of it, and then she puts it back together to thread your needle, and then that's going to give you a fuller satin stitch. But then she said, once you put a stitch down, so you have a back and forth stitch right here, come back in with your needle and separate those one last time. I thought that was stinking brilliant, you know, because it would. She says that helps with the twisting too, because you know how sometimes your thread twists even once the stitch has been made. Anyway, I thought it was brilliant. Okay, what did you say, Valerie? I have 3 felt kits going and 4 embroidery patterns. Yes. I understand completely. I have this little bit right here to finish. So yesterday during Pop and Paint Party, I was talking about this Facebook oh, it's not Facebook, sorry, Instagram account that I like to follow called Celebrity Substitute, where celebrities substitute teach, and it's like they teach things that they're kind of an expert in. Like they're Gigi Hadid taught modeling, so I thought that was cute. And it was just, you know what, it was lovely to see them interact with children. And oh gosh, what's his name? He plays for the Knicks. Anyway, he taught basketball, and those kids were just mesmerized. And it, you know, children are so brutally honest. They're like, I never heard of the New York Knicks. They were so dang cute. Anyway, if you get a chance, check it out. It was very cute. But you know, another Instagram person that I like to follow is Mending Beautifully. And she had this, I love her analogies. They're always like so succinct and relatable. So she talked about, she lives in Maine, where the roads are often slick. And if you grew up in that kind of weather, you know that they tell you, never slam on your brakes. Always just take your foot off the gas. Just take your foot off the gas if your car starts to slip or slide on slick roads. Just take your foot off the gas. And so she talked about how that could be a metaphor for life also, to not slam on the brakes, just take your foot off the gas, because with your car most often will just right itself if you take your foot off the gas. And so life is kind of like that too, that if you just take your foot off the gas, things will just right themselves. I just thought that was stinking brilliant. I loved that. I'm gonna tie this one off, and then I just have this last little section of border to do, and then I told myself, then I get the prize of being able to stitch with one of my new variegated threads. It's weird how you make those little prizes for yourself, isn't it? Like it's this little weird goal. Everybody take a drink. Okay. Look at one last little section. Excited about that. Okay. And I'm going to start here and do my straight. Valerie, are you watching Landman? Are you watching that one? I know you love Taylor Sheridan shows just as much as me. So good. I think there's only 2 more episodes left. This needs to be tightened more. So I was thinking about, this morning, I wanted some last minute things on my, talking points list. And I need to get a couple of those. I have a few really small ones, but I want to get a couple of larger ones. Are you going to get the Nurge ones, or are you going to get a different kind? I think I might order some more Nurge ones. Oh my gosh, it's so good, isn't it? It's such a good show. You know what? Something told me that you were watching it too. Now we just have 2 more episodes. It always seems like the season goes so fast, doesn't it? 10 episodes goes really fast. Especially when they, we didn't start watching it as soon as it came out. I think we were watching something else, and so we didn't get started right away. So then we watched a bunch of them in a row, because you know how a binge goes. And then, before you know it, we're caught up. I told you about the satin stitch. I'm totally gonna try that, you guys. I always want to put like some kind of satin stitch on each piece. I just love a satin stitch. Okay, you are gonna order them. All right. Oh, so Ordinary and Happy Life, they had a prompt this morning, which I thought was stinking brilliant. And I thought, oh my gosh, we can absolutely do that during class today. So you just need to look out your window and find one thing that is beautiful outside your window right now. And I'm looking out my window. And my window in my studio looks out to my backyard. And my neighbor just had their trees trimmed. And so one is perfectly round, and one is kind of squared off, and there's a big chunk that they missed. And I love that they missed this one big chunk that just looks like unruly hair. That's what caught my eye this morning. The new spin-offs of Yellowstone are going to start. I'm going to start soon too. Really, like the 4 6s, is that? And what's the other one? The one with Casey. I don't remember what the name of that one's going to be. I have this weird knot that's not really a knot. I don't know what in the world I did there. You know what? I'm just cutting it off. It's slowing me down. I need to be able to just keep on stitching. The sun is shining. Lovely. Lovely. I love that. Yeah, you guys have gotten so much rain, and can I tell you, Valerie, we have gotten nothing. And usually, if you get rain, like a couple days later, I get it, and you know what? Nothing. We've had majorly cloudy skies, but no rain. I really want it to rain. There's nothing like a rainy day to like just cuddle up and stitch, is there? Oh, I love it. or read a book, or stitch and watch a movie, or listen to a book and stitch, you know. All those cozy things. I love all those cozy things. I'm working really hard to remind myself to relax my shoulders. Because you know how sometimes before you know it, your shoulders are next to your ears, and you're like, how did that happen? So I'm trying really hard to relax my shoulders. Just be aware of it. The Marshalls. Okay. All right. Do you know when it's starting or anything like that? I started watching one that was, now darn it, what was the, Best Medicine. Has anybody watched any of that? It was kind of interesting. Cute. I just watched the first episode. The rain was horrible here Christmas Eve and day. We got more rain those 2 days than we've gotten all year. Yeah, so Val, you know, we were in California over New Year's, and in Southern California, and I'm telling you, it poured every day we were there. And I'm telling you, on the drive home, it was almost like clockwork. As soon as we crossed into Arizona, the rain stopped. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. I was so hoping for rain. But no. Alright, let's see. There we go. I don't want to pull that. I think it starts in February. Oh, okay. All right. I'll be on the lookout then. And I could just Google it. Isn't that crazy that that's like such a thing? You could Google a million things. Okay, what are the, okay, another thing, how did we survive before Google? And GPS, I mean, do you remember, like, even before MapQuest, we had to, like, have a, Rand McNally map in our car, and I do have a, Rand McNally, atlas in my car. Because, you know, sometimes you lose service, and I just want to be in the safe. And sometimes, Keely and I had this conversation, sometimes it helps to just visually see it on a map before I venture out wherever I'm going. And so, I just like that the security that a paper map gives me. My trainer has been able to have classes because roads were washed out. Oh, hasn't been able. And some of the roads still need to be repaired. Oh, wow. So you guys got, like, major rain. Like, wash out the roads of rain. Crazy. Okay, so another story that I recently came across was last night I drove into Chicago to meet friends for dinner. I can't imagine how I did it before GPS. Oh, I bet. Especially like driving into the city. Yeah, yeah. Well, don't you think that before this, we just used our common sense? And you kind of knew the roads, and do you know what I mean? Or you wrote down directions. Remember that? Remember that? Like when someone would just write directions to their house, and it was always like filled with landmarks. Okay, go to the house with the giant tree and the crooked trunk or whatever, and then turn left at that, and then go to the yellow house. So God forbid anybody ever painted their house or anything like that. I just find it amusing that we did it. We did it before. And now, it's kind of like having a backup camera in your car. I remember when I got a car with a backup camera, and I was like, that is so stupid. I'm never going to use that. And you know what? I am completely reliant on it now. Like whatever the new thing is, it always takes a little bit for us to get used to it, but then it just becomes part of our day-to-day life. I think I'm going to do these letters in purple, though. I think that's really pretty. And maybe I have a variegated purple. Shut up. How cute would that be? I'm kind of digging that idea. Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth, Valerie? Everybody, like, or someone would give you a piece of paper with the directions to their house. Yes. And you keep referring back to it in the car. Craziness. Craziness. It's crazy. Oh, so this other story that I came across was about this guy, and he's a little hyperactive and a little bit, he's kind of a lot, but he does have some good ideas. So, like, I take what works for me out of his stories because he's pretty intense. But his name is Jesse Itzler, Itzler. Anyway, so he's talking about how he went on this winter hike with his friend Kevin, and how he was like, they got there and it was, freezing cold, and they were at the top of the mountain, and he was like, Kevin, do you realize that, like, we're the only people here? It's crazy. And he goes, do you do this kind of stuff all the time? And Kevin says, no. He said that every other month I do something I might normally not have done. And that he goes on these mini adventures. One day out of every 8 weeks, he goes on a mini adventure. And he talked about how how much richer your life will be if you go on these mini adventures. And he said a mini adventure could be like not watching a football game and going fishing instead, or taking his kids to see a show in New York City, or I don't know exactly where they live, but you know what I mean. And I thought, oh, you know what? That's something that we could all implement in whatever way works for us. Do you know what I mean? Because one day out of every 8 weeks, that's not a huge ask. Do you know what I mean? To add value and make your life much richer. You know what I mean? And every time I have a big adventure like that, because those would be big adventures for me. Holy tamale, I feel like I see the world a little differently. Maybe I'm exposed to something that I hadn't seen before. If you read my last newsletter, and I hope you did, you saw this rock garden that I came across during that rainy trip to Oceanside, California, Valerie. And I'm telling you, it was just tremendous. The rock garden was, it was just beautiful. Like, and you saw it from the road. It was, do you know what I mean? Because it was vast, certainly, but the rocks were all painted in bright colors with positive messages. Oh my gosh. It just, and then it kind of spilled over. Like, it started as this big rock garden that had a big heart in the center, and then these blue rocks that kind of radiated out from that. And then there was like another section and another section, one section on the right and one section on the left. Oh my gosh, it was just stunning. Anyway. Oh, everybody take a drink. Wasn't it the most beautiful? I used it, man alive. I'm telling you, I saw it and it just stopped me. And it was pouring rain. But I was like, I gotta go capture it because I want to remember it. I mean, that is the beauty of having a camera in your hand at all times on our phones, isn't it? Like, we can capture all kinds of things. I love that. I just love that. All right. Finishing up. Anyway, so he just talked about, like, adding one little thing every 8 weeks. And I thought, that's something that we can all do, right? And it doesn't have to be something as big as, like, you know, hiking down a snowy mountain. It could be, like, there's a flower show in Tempe that I've been meaning to go to for years. And I told myself, this is the year. I'm just going. I'm just going to go and see what it's all about. I just want to see it. And I will probably drive my car to a train station and then just take the train into Tempe, because then you don't have to worry about parking. You know what I mean? There's something about that, isn't there? And then I can just ride the train right back to my car. I'm excited about that. Does anybody else get these little weird curlicues on the end of their threads that kind of make it knot? That's frustrating. or going to the art museum, or I don't know, whatever the thing is that, going to a professional basketball game, or going to a high school basketball I don't know, whatever it is. Make a memorable moment in your life. Add value to your life, because those are the things that you're going to look back on fondly and remember. In February, the giant trolls are going to come to California. Oh my gosh. They're going to be in the Botanical Garden in Pacific Palisades. I cannot wait to see them. Oh my gosh. I've seen some of those giant trolls. I saw a couple in Oregon, I think. And then where did I see another one? Maybe in Seattle. But they're kind of everywhere. I love that they're coming to California. Well, be sure to take pictures, Valerie. We'd all like to see them. Keels, what's something beautiful you see out your window? That was something we talked about earlier. Jeff sent me a picture this morning. So he took the puppy to California with him to his mom's house. And she has this toy that's like, we call it the Abominable Snowman. Anyway, it's a chew toy, and it has a squeaker in the middle, and it's made like sort of like a stuffy, Anyway, he sent me a picture this morning that I don't know if she got upset with him or she just had, this big idea. She chewed the center out of the white toy, the Abominable Snowman, and pulled its heart out. And that was the squeaker. And I said, look at that. She put on this act that she was this sweet little baby. And look at her. It was all part of her diabolical plan to lure us in with her sweetness. And then the true colors came out. They're all over the world. This group are traveling trolls. Oh, okay. They are part of some study. There's a Facebook page about the trolls and how to find them. Fascinating, Valerie. That is fascinating. Our huge evergreen in the backyard. It always amazes me because Kim's niece bought it for us years ago. It started as a 12-inch twig, and now it's over 18 feet tall. I love that tree, Keels. I love that tree. Everything. They are everything this time of year. Since it's foggy and everything else is brown. Yes, I remember that. I know I have my evergreen wreath is still hanging on the shutter outside my front door, and it's dying a slow, mournful death, but I can't let it go just yet. It's so pretty and it smells so good. And I still have a giant poinsettia outside my front door too. But I know that it won't be long and they'll be gone. I remember those days, Keels, when it was so dark. But before you know it, the crocuses will be poking their heads out of the ground. I always loved that. My mom loved the crocuses because she was not a really big fan of the winter. My dad, on the other hand, not that he loves it, but he doesn't mind the cold and the snow. All of your snow is melted. Really? Oh my gosh. I'll send you a picture of my dad's yard. It's insane, Keely. It's insane. Like he has, at the end of his driveway, well, like where they plow the driveways, my dad has that long front yard, you know, and so like the plowed snow gets pushed on his, that berm gets pushed on his, into his yard, and it's enormous right now. It's enormous. But just the fallen snow in his front yard is probably 3 feet high. It's crazy. Oh, let's take a drink, shall we? I think that's a grand idea. I need sunshine. This rainy weather is for the birds. I do find that the sunshine, it does help. That's for sure. I did get my mom one of those lights, the, what is it called? You know, it's the bright light that you shine to bring light in the, during the Midwest dark winters. What are those called, Keels? It's called a, I don't know, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The seasonal depression lights. I don't know if my dad uses it. So do you just have muck right now, Keels? Yuck. I remember those days. I do need sunshine too, and I don't know that we're going to get sunshine today. We have, it's pretty gray outside right now. But I'm not crossing my fingers for sunshine, or for rain, I should say. Yes, I had one when I lived in Bakersfield because it was so gloomy during winter. Oh, I didn't realize Bakersfield was a gloomy place in the winter. Interesting. I don't know that we ever stopped there, and we drove through there a lot when we lived in San Francisco, and we would drive down to see Jeff's parents in Southern California. We drove through Bakersfield a lot, but I don't know that we ever stopped there. Always makes me think of Buck Owens and, what's his name? Darn it. Dwight Yoakam. And the Bakersfield Sound. getting so close to starting that pretty variegated green. And I believe that's see, they have whipped running stitch, but I'm thinking I'm gonna do stem stitch because I'm gonna use the variegated thread. And then I think stem stitch outlines the flower too. I do love a stem stitch. I just ordered a stitching book yesterday from St. Louis Art Supply. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to share it with you guys because I want to incorporate some of that stitching in my next patterns. I can't wait. I know that stem stitch is so pretty, isn't it? I think it's so pretty. But I really like that running whip stitch too. Whipped running stitch. Running whip stitch. You know what I was talking about. But I think I will do my leaves in stem stitch instead because I'm going to use this beautiful thread. Look at it. Oh my gosh. The colors are just stunning. And then this for the flower. Ugh, can't wait. But I like that. I like that. I like that lovely satin stitch too. That's for sure. And I want to try that little trick and see what happens. See if I can get it to get fuller satin stitches. Has anybody ever done the satin stitch where you do like stitches this way and then come back and do stitches this way? Makes it real puffy and padded almost. I've thought about that too. Trying that on something somewhere along the line. There we go. Oh goodness. It's 10:01. So I will bid you adieu and say thank you so much for joining me for some slow stitching and easy conversation. It's just, oh my gosh, I look forward to a Wednesday morning, you know? I hope you do too. I hope you do too. And I will see you tomorrow in Pop-In Paint Party. But also, if you watch this on the replay, which I know lots of people do, please let us know that you watched on the replay. Tell us what you see out your window. And if you watch any of my videos on YouTube, if you would leave a comment over there, I would love that too. Have an amazing, amazingly wonderful Wednesday. Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye.